Okay, here we are back with the warm blood, and again, y'all missed one session with this. This is her fourth session, so if you're wondering how long it takes to get this done, y'all have pretty much seen every session that I've done with these horses except for one, and this last one that y'all didn't get to see, I just did almost the same exact thing that I did in the session before that is on video. Okay. And I was just working with her. If y'all remember, she had trouble with me getting in both eyes. And I was just working with her, swapping from side to side, side to side, side to side, over and over and over again until she got okay with me being in both eyes. And that's basically all I did with that other session. Now, here you see that I'm sacking her out with the rope, swinging the rope all around her. And I do this starting each session with all of the horses because I want this to kind of be a relaxing time. I want them to associate this with just taking a break, okay? Because what's going to happen is when you're getting stuff, you're saddling up, you're tying things onto your saddle, or you're getting ready to do stuff. They need to be okay and not fidgeting around and just know that we're not doing anything, okay? So that's the reason why I do that. I try to do that. Try to do that before every session and after every session. Now I don't actually do it after every session every time because I want it to end on a certain note. But it just depends on what the horse needs. But I do try to do it first. Okay. So I'm getting her prepared to start the session. Doing good, and if you notice, she let me go to that right eye real easy. Before, when I turned her to face the camera so y'all can kind of see it, and they had a four-wheeler or something back on the tree line that she was looking at. I didn't want her, didn't want it distracting her too bad, so I turned her a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to ask her to back up. This is the first time that I've done this with her. Okay, and if you notice, before her very first session, I couldn't hardly get her to want to come around me. Now, you can't hardly get her to leave. Okay, she's wanting to just stay right there close to me. What that's saying is that now instead of finding her comfort in the other horses, now she's finding her comfort in me. She's a real insecure type horse, and she looks for her security in outside sources. So before she was looking for her security to be with the other horses, now she's looking at me for her security, which is good. That's what I wanted. I wanted her looking at me. So I'll just get kind of bigger and bigger, asking her to take a step back. Now you notice here, I'm even resorting to popping her on the nose with the lead rope. I'm not hitting her hard, but I'm swinging it, and I'm tapping her on the end of the nose. She ain't even worried about it. So I'm just going to do something else and get bigger and bigger and bigger. There, she gave me a step. So I don't want to make a big deal about it. I don't want to scare her. Okay. There, she gave me another step and two little half steps. And then she's coming, notice she's coming right back to me on her own. I'm going to let her do that. I want that draw. I want her to want to come back to me. I'm going to ask her, I'm just going to get real big with it. You see her lifting her head. I'm just going to keep going until she gives me that step back. All right. So now I'm going to rub all that away. I don't want her starting to think that she has to lift her head when that happens. So I'm rubbing it all away. I got my step back. That's a good thing. Rubbed it all away. Now I'm going to ask her just to lower her head a little bit. Now I don't know if this has ever horse has ever been asked to do it this way before or not. She's not acting like she did, but what I'm doing is just putting pressure behind her ears with my hand. I'm just taking my thumb and my forefinger and kind of squeezing and letting her bring her head away from me. Now, I want to get back to that in a minute. I mainly wanted her to be thinking about lowering her head, not raising her head, before I started on this next deal. So now I'm going to just direct her around me. I want to get her out of that lunging and just directing around me. I want her to start watching my hand. Instead of running away from me, I want her to be led around me. I'm not chasing her, I'm leading her. And I want her to start understanding that. Ask her to change directions. Just keep going, not making a big deal out of her getting real close to me because, again, I want that draw. Now you're going to notice on this side, I'm back on the right side. She's kind of leery about it. So when she hits the end of that rope like she did just now, I'm just going to change directions. Let her change direction. As soon as she got where she faced up to me, I stepped back and drew her back into me. Now I'm going to send her again. Now, a lot of people will start yanking on this rope, pulling on the rope, trying to get her to give her head. This is a lot easier and you get a lot better results doing this. Doing it like this. When she just hits the end of that rope, you just change directions with her. And you see a lot of people just getting in a tug of war with these horses when they're asking them to move around them, and they're just pulling on that rope. A lot of that is from doing the lunging, just driving them around them, and the horse is trying to get away from them. And a lot of it is them just yanking back and making the horse bracy. This keeps that from happening. I'm not driving this horse around me. I'm leading it around. And whenever she wants to leave, I just draw her back. Now, all the foundations of this was done with that first roping, okay? Teaching her to lead. If not just being halter broke, but actually teaching her to lead. If we would have skipped that part, this would be really, really hard to do, okay? So now I'm going to ask her to give her head. I'm going to give her head to the left, to the right, and up and down, okay? I'm going to try to use just 3 to 5 pounds of pressure. This horse here is real sensitive. And again, what I mean by that is that they react to sight, sound, touch real quickly, a real sensitive horse. So I'm barely having to take the slack out of this rope to get her to give. If you notice right there, I just have the rope resting between my thumb and my finger. I'm not even holding the rope in my hand. It's just resting on the top of my hand, you see. I'm just barely taking the slack out, and she's feeling that and giving me her head extremely light. That's what you get with these sensitive horses. You can get them light. It's not going to be, you may be able to get that Belgium this light, but it's highly unlikely, okay, to get him that light and maintain him that light. This horse, you can start him that light and they'll maintain that if your hands are being used correctly. Again, I'm just going from left to right, asking her to give her head. That's good. Now she gave it left and right real well. Now I'm gonna get the up and down. And again, it's just as important to know the horse, give the horse the cue up as it is down. Okay. So what I'm doing again is I'm kind of pulling on the halter just a little bit, kind of, it's more or less stabilizing with the halter. I don't want her pulling her head away from me, and I just squeeze right behind her ears with my thumb and my pointy finger, and I let her bring her head away from my hand. I don't just follow it down. When she ducks her head, I let her pull my fingers out. Pull her head out of my fingers, basically. Again, this is a really tall horse. This is going to be important. Average person would not be able to bridle this horse if she held her head up. You see how high I'm reaching. If I can touch an 8-foot ceiling with my tips of my fingers. So just that in comparison to how far I'm reaching up to get the top of this horse's head. Okay, most people, your average lady, your average woman wouldn't be able to reach the top of this horse's head. It's a good 7 foot when she picks her head up or higher. So we got to teach her to put it down. Now I'm going to teach her to put it down using my hand on top of her head and using the halter. There. Real good. I'm going to lift her head up. Now, this doesn't take a whole lot, okay? But you need to be able to get her used to her having her head positioned up and down, because that's going to be important when you start asking her for collection. So this is all preparing her for later on. There we go. I'm asking her, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of milking that rope. I'm pulling it, and just as if I was milking it, okay? And what that does is you pull down and then release, pull down and then release, pull down. And what it does is, if you notice, you'll pull on it and they'll pull back. And when I release, they'll raise the head just a little bit, and then I milk it again. And continue to do that. That way you're pulling, the pull doesn't come except for when their head is at the highest point. When they raise their head up to the highest point, they get another pull down on the rope. When it's at the lowest point, they get released, okay? And they figure that out pretty quickly, as you can tell. Raise your head up, lifted it up, and now I'm going to milk her head down. I'm just kind of touring it. See how she goes lower and lower, and then when she really gives it and drops it on down, I just release completely. There. Real good. Apparently somebody has given this horse some treats because she keeps looking at my hand and asking for treats. I don't generally do that. Now I'm going to ask her to give her hindquarters. So I turned her head just a little bit, and I'm pressing her side again. I'm going hair, then skin, then muscle, then I'll hit the bone and hold. But right now, I usually do it in like a 4 count. But right now, as sensitive she is, I'm trying to get it on phase 1. So phase 1, I'm actually doing 6 counts, and then I go back down to 3 or 4 for the other one. So I'll go hair, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go to skin, 1, 2, 3, 4, then the muscle, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then what I'm doing is I'm just holding it. I'm not going all the way to phase 4. I'm not going to the muscle. I'm just stopping at, I'm not going to the bone. I'm just stopping at muscle and holding it. I don't want her to to get nervous with it. I don't want to escalate her emotions right now. She doesn't need that. So I'll go hair, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and she moved. So that was phase 1. Okay. I'll do it again. Hair, 2. See, she already started moving. 3, and that was it. Phase 1. So again, these real sensitive horses, it's real easy to get these real light phases. With the other horses, again with that Belgium, I didn't get phase 1 out of him. I think I might have got a phase 2 or 3, phase 3. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at the video. But she's doing good. She's moving most of the time on phase 1. I might have to give her phase 2. But that's real good. For only 4 sessions. Okay. I'm going to do a front end. Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to do it back in again. There. Phase 1. Good job. Now I'm going to rub that all off. Just rubbed her where I was cueing her. Rub it all away. Any anxiety, we're going to rub it away. Now I'm going to do a front end. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm giving her an extra long time in phase 1. And I'm not going to phase 4, just phase 1, 2, and 3. It'll be hair, then muscle, hair, then skin, then muscle. And if you see right now, I'm not having to get out of phase 1. She's moving just with me touching her hair. Really good, really good. She's being really light. She's not getting excited. I'm on track her and just let her unwind just a little bit. You see how she crossed her legs in the back when I was untracking her like that? That's good. That means she's relaxed, okay? If you turn them kind of tight and they're not crossing their back legs, they're not really relaxed. Okay, now I'm going to start the mounting deal. And what I'm going to do is just get on the side of her and basically let my body touch her sides. I'm going to jump up and down a few times, and I'm going to jump on her now. I'm not going to just jump on this horse like I did the other ones. I could with a little more effort. See, I could have just jumped a little bit harder and I could have got on it. But I decided to go ahead and take advantage of her being that tall, and I could let myself be a little lazy. And I'm going to show you how to do this if you can't jump on it, if you're vertically challenged and can't get up all the way on the horse. Okay, this is how you would do it. So you basically pet the horse with your body on the side. Okay, just like that. Now she's not moving. She accepted that really well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get the mounting block and use whatever you're going to use. I don't have mounting blocks around the house. I got some way out in the pasture for people that come over and shoot, but I don't have anything handy right here. I had a target handy. I'm just going to use that. So I went out. It's right there by the gate. So I went out and I got it. And I got to get her used to it. Okay, and you do the same thing if it was the steps or mounting block steps, whatever. And I'm going to let her look at it. You notice she's kind of leery with it. I'm not just going to go straight to trying to get on her with this deal. See how she's kind of walking around it. She's not really wanting to get close to it. I'm just going to introduce her to it until she decides she can come stand beside it and be okay with it. Now, I'm asking her to come on over the top of it, and she wouldn't, so she comes around it, and it's fine. I just as soon her not step on it anyway. But you can see how she's swinging her back end around it. She's not really readily wanting to get right next to it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just going to reassure a little more with it. I'm going to go ahead and pick it up and tuck it underneath my shoulder or underneath my arm and make it so it'll be kind of small as I can get it, and let her smell it. And it's real close to me, real close to my body, and she can get in there real close to me and again too. And I just let her smell it, rub it down her neck, and I'm rubbing her body with it. I'm just touching her with it, and just introducing her to it. And you do the same thing with your mounting block or your steps or whatever you're going to use. Okay, so I'm just going to drift with her. If she decides she has to move out of the way of it, I'm just going to drift with her. And remember, this is her tough side, okay? And she did real good with it. So I'm going to bring it back over here and do it again. And you notice I'm just going to walk straight on past it the first few times. Let her get past it. I'm going to turn around and walk straight on past it again. If I were to try to make her stop close to it, she'd swing her rear end out again, okay? They accept it a lot easier if they can just walk straight past it, okay? Walk past it there. Okay, now I'm going to start kind of bringing her in a little close and kind of making a more of a circle around it. Okay, now she's wanting to kind of swing her back in out, so I turned her, kind of did a figure 8. Help her out with that a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, which the black side is facing up. That brightness is a little bit, white kind of. Horses generally shy away more from white stuff than they do from darker stuff. Now, if you notice, she gave me her front foot. She got it right there by her front foot, and she stopped. She was okay with it. So I took advantage of that. I just brought her up there and cut on her right there by the front foot. Now she's going to go, she went to her back foot. That's okay, as long as she can stand there and she's comfortable, I'm all right. I'm going to go ahead and stand on it and rub her down from the back. Now you want to get her where she's comfortable with it anywhere in her body, okay? So I don't have to have it right in the middle of her right now, okay? Because she's got to get used to it to the front end and she's got to get used to it at the back end, because you're going to have to situate her next to this thing. So she needs to be okay with it in all of her zones throughout her whole body. This is more in the middle. So she did good. And you see how quickly she's reacting. I mean, she's relaxing with it. And if she was still not okay with me being in her right eye, or with things being in her right eye, you couldn't hardly do this with her. Okay? That's why all of these things, all of these steps that you're doing, that you do, you need to not skip them. Okay? Again, she gave me the front foot. That's fine. Every step is preparing her for something else. Now you remember that second video when she was tied, she didn't even want me in that side, on the side of her when I was far away from her, not less with a mounting block right next to her. You see the big change that this horse has made. and make sure that she's okay with it. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and jump on this horse right now, okay? This is all I'm going to do with her. I'm going to end the lesson on this. I'm going to make sure she's okay. I want her to really think about this, okay? This is a big deal for her. She done really good. So whenever you turn a horse loose after a lesson and you let her sit up a day or two, they think about these things. They dwell on this, okay? It's not like they just forget about it. They're not going to do that. They're going to think about this the whole time and remember everything you've done the next session. Now what I'm doing is I'm rolling it. See, I'm rolling that away. If it was a step or whatever, I'd just slide it with my foot and let her follow it out. And what that simulates is a dominant horse out in the pasture. If he's pushing another horse, they'll join in behind and push it with them, you know. So that's what just happened in her mind. I pushed that thing out, got it out of here, and she helped me, you know, so it's just a good deal. So I'll go ahead and unhalter her, and what I'm going to do is just unloosen that halter. Now I'm going to start really reinforcing her lower and her head now. So I'm going to unloosen the halter where I can get it off pretty easy. Not totally taking it off, but I'm getting it loose. And then I lower her head, put my arm over her neck, get her relaxed with that. And then I'm going to take the halter off and just walk out. I'm not going to wait for her to walk away from me. As soon as that halter dropped down, I left. Okay? So she'll remember that. And so I hope y'all enjoying these videos. And if you do, like it, subscribe, and share them with a friend. And I hope to see you again.